Okay, so hey everybody, welcome again to another session of JSMFX for another episode, another edition of JSMFX forecast reviews and also analysis on the forex pairs in forex trading. Well, today I'm not going to say much. There's a lot to learn, but I'm trying to well, I'll try and keep it short because wow, there's so much that I've learned about myself this weekend. I'll have to, like adjust them to my own preference and to what works. So let's begin with GBP USD. It's very obvious that you are looking at the daily last week and expecting it to come down. So that's what it did this week of July 6th to the 10th of 2025. So this is what happened during the week. I think last week price was around here, okay, and now it has gone all the way down, and now we are looking to see if we can get some few moves reacting from this demand, or maybe pushing further down to break it, continue or rather continue with the downtrend. So that's one thing I'll be focusing on coming in next week, but this momentum is so strong unless next week class is on Monday, unless it opens up with a week to the upside, and then see some few confluences that I'll be expecting before making any decision. What I know is this supply, if GBP USD wants to continue the trend, then this supply might hold if price comes here. So excuse me, for me, if price does give us a little bit of momentum to the upside, that is coming in next week, then I'll be really focusing on this supply, maybe reacting from it and then continue to the downside. I don't know, from the weekly, I don't think if there's anything to look at, because if you check this red horizontal line is my liquidity point where uh, price came and took it out right there, and then now it's looking to continue to the downside. So yes, we've had a change of character after the liquidity being taken, as you can see from here. So I'm expecting maybe when price comes here, then I'll be looking for opportunities and riding it to the downside. 4 hour, so much to see, but I'll try and keep it simple. Playing between that high and this low. There was a change of character here, but it was just an inducement so that people could continue selling from here, here, and here, and then all those sell side liquidity, they were taken out, and then price short to the downside. So the next change of character now is here. I'm not drawn on it because I don't want my chart to be very dirty, but you can see very obviously that this was the last low. So price came short down and then wanted to reverse back, or rather do the return to either the range or extreme. But what happened is it just came to our fair value gap, which is this one, and then continue to the downside. So where it's coming to right now, as you can see, this was the analysis, this was the prediction that I had last week on my video, and price really reacted from there and then continued to the downside. What I'll be anticipating coming in next week is price to at least reach down to this 4-hour POI, the demand, which is nested inside this daily, as you can see, and the daily POI, and also which is nested inside this daily sell to buy range. So that is how I look at things, and I'll be expecting maybe price to come here and look for opportunities to the upside, maybe to that supply like I said, and also to this supply which is nested inside that daily supply. So that's the overall forecast that I'll be looking at coming in next week on the 4-hour. 15-minute also, it showed some few potential that it wanted to go to the upside, but to be very honest, I didn't like how GBP USD was acting last week, or rather this week, and for me, I'll just leave it right now. I won't want to concentrate much on it, especially even coming in next week, because if you check very closely, I was actually following up on it last week, but as you can see, this, especially on Friday, Price tried to return, but it didn't touch the supply, and then we shot off. Then came to this supply. Now you see, when it comes to such a supply, okay, this order block, when it comes to such a supply, you'll be confused because we have the supply up. So you never know, maybe this downward move could be inducement to just come and take them out to this supply and then continue to the downside. So for me, I'm really not going to concentrate on it coming in next week. What I'll only do is I'll only mark my structure, telling myself that this was the last law that was broken. So I don't want to I don't want to start assuming any other lower low from here unless I see a deeper pullback. But aside from that, I don't have anything to say on GBP USD. So trust me and also bear with me as I put it like that. If you're in my group in Telegram, then you'll understand why I'm saying so. I tend to focus on other pairs, but for now, GBP USD, I'll just be expecting it to come down to this demand. So that is it for GBP USD. I don't have anything at all to look at coming in next week, but I'll just be expecting to find if we'll get some reactions to that demand, especially on the 4 hour. And yeah, I think that will be all for GBPSD. So let's now jump into a surprise pair that I've also been looking at, and we'll be focusing on also coming in next week. Well, surprise pair, I've been looking at USD dollar index. Not really putting so much interest, but just want to check out what it's doing and see if I can get interested on some few areas of concern. Actually, it was a request from one of the guys in my group asking me to just check on it and also see if we can find opportunities. So I don't want to look at everything that you're seeing right now. I just want to jump in straight to the point where I had this law. Okay, this analysis, actually we did it together. So if you're not in my group, if you are in my group, you will get to see such analysis in depth when we do the video calls together. So for me, I told her, let's just go over it step by step because it was something new and it was a blank chart. We had to take our time. So starting off with the market structure on the daily, actually let's start off from the weekly and see if there are any other areas of areas of point of interest that we need to look at. So weekly, I don't want to explain what is happening here, but what I see here obviously is price shot up to make a higher high and then came down to break this low. So it could be continuing to the downside because looking at this here, we see that there was a high reacting to this exchanging wicks, that is the buy to sell wicks, okay, this week and that week, and then we came down again to break this low, okay, but this market structure is for the daily, so don't really pay that much attention to it right now. So we broke that low and then price is coming back and it has come back to this supply. So I'm expecting maybe for it to react from there and then continue to the downside. So whether it's just where it is and continue or it wants to go deeper, then we'll have to see that coming in next week. Daily. Daily also the same supply that we saw is this whole range, that is this buy to sell range that is here. I don't want to draw on it because it's really quite big and it might blind me off from my analysis. So I just want to explain what is happening here. For me, we had the daily change of character right there, and actually, when you're looking at it, this was a candle that was there at that time. So I was expecting. I was telling guys I was expecting it for at least to come down to this demand before it shorts to the upside. But as you can see, it just ranged and then now it looks like it still wants to go to the upside. So yes, I would be concentrating on this one, expecting for price to at least come down there before we go to the upside. But if it does go all the way up without touching this demand, then I think I'll just grab off everything and start afresh while the price would have come to this area. For now, this daily breakout structure, we can see where price is at this exchanging wicks, and in this exchanging wicks we'll see in the lower time frames. Let me just draw it on right now, but we'll see on the lower time frame that it was a market structure, or rather a range supply, where we could be expecting some moves from there, and then maybe come on to that daily demand, this daily demand before we go up. So let's see, I just want to edit the colors so that we see the difference and never to forget what we are looking at. So that is just all for the daily. And yes, we had a pullback here, but for me, I think I'll just be expecting price to just come up here. Nothing more, nothing less. So let's look at 4 hour. 4 hour, remember that range we drew on? This could be the one, this 4 hour buy to sell range. And remember, we said it was just before this breakout structure was broken. So also I'll be expecting price to at least come to this supply, which is actually doing that right now, and expecting it to react from there, maybe come down, take out also some few liquidity areas, say the buy side liquidity, before it continues to the upside. What I'm strongly also believing is we broke structure here on the 4 hours. So technically we are on an uptrend like this. Okay, and price is going to the upside. So unless now price wants to come down, then I'll be expecting for it to react from this demand. Okay, but if it does break to this demand, then maybe we could be changing direction to the downside. But I'll be expecting for it to react here, and then maybe look to go to the continue to the upside. And also another reason for us to look at it, expecting it to come up, is because of this gap. I'm expecting for it also to come and cover it before we continue to the downside. So here now is where things get a bit interesting, because I wanted to just monitor it and see how it actually behaves, and see if it also works for the SMC strategy, and if everything is okay, or rather safe for us to trade on it. So yes, so 15 minutes also, we can see that yes, we are on an uptrend, and I see, remember that daily range that we talked about right here is the 4 hour. I don't know why it has not appeared on the 4 hour, but it has appeared on the 15 minute. So allow me to remove it, because we have it now in our minds. And yeah, so let's continue. So also on the 15 minute, we see that we are on an uptrend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then higher high. So because now we haven't clearly broken to the upside, but we see that price is intending to do so. But also I'll keep in mind of this demand before we continue to the upside. Also checking on things from the strategy point of view, we had a change of character here. When price broke to the upside and wanted to pull back, as you can see, we had a change of character, we had a return, and then price shot down. So that means it's possible. We can look at smart money concepts strategy in this pair. So price went up again, I think here, change of character, return to that supply, and then shot off. And it shot off because we had left liquidity here, here, and also here. Okay, and all that was all that price came and took them out. Well, now when it was, what is confusing for me is when it came down, it didn't come down to this demand, which is actually relatively a flip zone for me. If you're an SMC student or an alumni, you'll understand. There was a demand here, but actual price came and took them out. And after taking them out, I would have expected price to come and react from this demand before it goes up, but as you can see, it left that option open and then reversed. So when it came up to the upside, broke the structure this high, we see that price price reversed back correctively to this demand. Okay, and also uh, and also forming that triangle, okay, that descending triangle, which was eventually broken and then continued to the downside, no, to the upside. So what I think this happened on the Thursday, which obviously I wasn't around. This happened on Thursday, and I would have, for me, if I was watching price, then this would have been a very good area to look at and also take my trades. Even and also because this was my last pullback right here on this doji, if I put in my sales buy stop right there and then my stop loss maybe to the low of this doji, then this would have been a very good 3R if I'm not wrong. Yes, 3.1R, as you can see, back to that supply. Okay, and yes, I think that will just be all for USD index. What I'll be expecting is, actually I didn't take this trade, but I was just putting in right there just to see how it will react from that supply, because it had come there and then ranged all the way to Frankfurt and London showed us, or gave us the opportunity that it will continue to the downside. But as you can see, most of the time of the day on Friday, it ranged, and then price shot up to come and take all this liquidity. So yeah, I'm still monitoring it, and I'd love to see for it to, give me some few opportunities like here on the triangle or something like this replicating itself in the future. But for now, I'll just leave it to play out on its own while I'm monitoring it, and maybe expect some few moves from here. If you ask me about any POIs that I'll be expecting for it to react from, then maybe, just maybe, um, I will be expecting for it to come and react from here. I don't know, no, I don't think it has reached here, but this will be the one of the supplies that I'll be expecting it to react from. So let's just mark that real quick, and also this one. Okay, also that one. And why are we marking them? Because we have a low here that was broken, and that signaled that there was a change of character, but price never pulled back to any of those supply after the change of character. So maybe they are reacting to them now. They would want to reach to them now, because those are the areas where they'll be focusing on, and also expecting them to be touched before maybe looking for any possibilities to the downside and have some sell trades, and bank some few profits into our account. So that will be all for DXY. Let's now jump to the next pair. I think I will start off with gold and finish up with the two pairs that are left, GJ and USD CHF, where I had some few bits of opportunities. Okay, so let's jump on to gold. Okay, GOLD, what do we have? On the daily perspective, we talked of this double bottom, as you can see here, because after the change of character here, price pulled back to somewhat the extreme right here. Let me try and put it brighter so you can see. So yes, so price came up there and then came down to react from this demand, and now it shot up. When it shot up, we had another change of character on the daily, and then that change of character caused the price to react back after coming and hitting this supply right there. Came and reacted from the demand, and now it shot up. Now personally, I expected for it to react from this supply again to continue to the downside, but now that change of character, this bullish change of character, is now proving to us that it wants to push price to the upside and leave some buy side liquidities, especially this low and this low, and also all these lows, maybe to come and tackle them next time, but not now. So for now, they're still going up, and maybe they could be using also this one to just build more buy side liquidity to the upside, and also possibly causing the break of structure to the upside of that high. So that's just the daily. Let's move on to 4 hour. 4 hour also, so much drama. After the change of character, we didn't see price coming back to that supply, so we came all the way down had a change of character here, but actually it was a fake break because price came and took all these lows out. Okay, and then we reversed back to that supply like we said in the daily, the green one, and then came to the downside. So here is where all the drama unfolds, because you had a change of character, close up above that high, returned to this demand, and they shot up. So we came up again, but we didn't touch the supply. Then again we switched direction to the downside, and then price reacted to the supply here and then push price to the lower side. So one thing I've learned with forex trading is you need to be very attentive on the high time frames, because the high time frames that tells you the story. Because imagine if you are right here and you notice this reaction from this supply, or maybe here, if you took that sell, then actually for this sell that was here, I explained it last week the way I missed it and I hesitated. So even if you are here and you got possible entry to the downside within the lower time frames, then that would have been a very good opportunity to maximize the profits up to this demand. So up to there, you can see very well that price reversed back right here. That means after this low, we had a pullback, and then we went down and then shot up to cause a break of this high, which caused automatically caused a change of character, and then now we had a reaction from that supply. So the mitigation on that supply would have expected for it also to react from there, come down here, and then go up. But now gold has obviously showed us that it had no business with that demand, and then continue to the upside. So yes, it could react from this demand, but I'll not be expecting much from gold. Maybe if they make certain moves, say from here, if they make certain moves like that and then come up, cause a change of character by breaking this low, then I'll be looking for those opportunities of the return to the supply, and then continues to the downside. So that's where I'll maybe take the opportunity and yeah, see if I can maximize some few profits to that demand before continuing to the upside. For our 15 minutes, just a second. Okay, so sorry about that. 15 minutes, also confusing for me. I don't think I'll be looking at this even next week. I mean, gold sometimes can be very boring, especially for your strategy if it's doesn't look to work, and every area that you expect price to react from, it disrespects most of the time. So for me, I won't want to associate myself with gold coming in next week. But what I know is, even after following up, I had this pullback, then break to the upside, and you see all these highs and lows being choppy, nothing deeper to say that you can mark off your high and maybe look to concentrate on and maybe capitalize or take the advantage of some sales. So we have this low, then that high. Yes, we can say we had a change of character here, but how well do you trust it? How well do you trust the pair to say that maybe if yes, we take some sales from this supply, price could get actually to here. So for me, it's not really clear, but yes, maybe could get some few opportunities from there. Maybe get some sales to that last low before the break of this high that we had a change of character, the flip zone, and also this extreme that had not been touched. So what I can say is, either that happens, that I get an opportunity here, but it will be very risky, or I just let it play out and expect it to at least come up to this supply where we looked at, and yeah, expect some reaction from there. If we are expecting some action or reaction from those areas, then the supplies that I'll be checking from that 4-hour supply itself is you see how all this is just all confusing, because this supply had already mitigated, this supply also, yes, maybe mitigated, but only on the range So maybe for this one, I'll be looking for it to react from there coming in next week. So let me just draw on it and let it just play out coming in next week. And yeah, expect it to maybe give us opportunity from there. So for me, gold has been very slow, especially on reacting on the levels that I mark on. I know there are other people who are very experienced in with SMC, and they can actually obviously see that there are areas where I missed. Okay, areas where I missed and I didn't look at. So I won't want to judge them much, and please don't judge me, because this is what works for me, and that is how I look at things when I focus on the strategy. So that is just all I can say for gold. Maybe expect for it to come to here, look for some opportunities, and capitalize on them. But for now, I don't have a high. Maybe I'll mark off this one, but not really sure unless it price breaks this low. That's when I'll mark that high. But for now, gold is clearly continuing on an uptrend. Okay, so last but not least, let me just do these markups real quick. Add a change of character, and then supply right there. So this one I'll change it to 15 minutes chop dark, and I'll let it, oops, I guess that was the wrong color, so let me put it as white, and then 2 pixel, sorry, 2 pixel, and dotted. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that and wait to see what will happen coming in next week. So that's all for gold. Let's now jump to GJ and look at the drama that unfolded. Okay, GBP JPY, a little bit of some drama, a little bit of a lot of hesitation and missed trades. But all that aside, let us look at the reality. So yes, I am still expecting for price to come to this supply, expecting for it also to react from there and see what you can do, or maybe what you can have from that point. Also, this supply up above here, I'll be expecting for it to come to there. And as you can see, also price has also been doing very small corrective pullbacks and pushing to the upside slowly. Okay, so you had this high creating that low price range around here, broke to the upside. We had another change of character here. I was expecting price to react there, but it shot to the upside. But all these moves, some of them were capitalized. I took advantage of them in the lower time frames. I'll show you. But I think with here, there's some hesitations that I had, and then yeah, price continues to the upside. So now it has broken again to the upside. Yes, I would be expecting at least price to pull back to that demand before continuing to the upside. But price, for now, I'm convinced that price just wants or forever will do whatever it feels like doing. I cannot judge that or expect it to happen according to my own preferences or wishes. 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour do we have? We have break of structure to the upside. Okay, and let me just draw on that. So break of structure to the upside like that. Okay, so price pulled back and then went up. I took an opportunity here, I'll show you. Then came down. Okay, to that there was a demand here. Actually, yes, this was a 4 hour, but I drew this demand as 4 hour, but it's clear around the 15 minutes, so I'll show you. So yes, price again shot up, and then now it has caused a change of character from that low, and price was or wanted to continue to the downside, but it actually remembered that they had that supply which they had to look at before maybe possibly continuing to the downside. So now it's confusing because we had this high, then we had this pullback of the orange as this sidebar, something like that, and then we have another high formed here. So maybe they could be correctively moving, okay, and continue to the upside to break that structure and continue. But there could be some few gaps that want, some few demands that wants to be filled here. So from this point, they could continue to the downside also. And yeah, expect some few moves to the downside before maybe reacting around there and then continue to the upside. 15 minutes, 15 minutes, so many opportunities. Some were left out, some were grabbed, and yeah, some were ignored. Oh, where will I start from? I think this was on Monday, and then this was on Tuesday. Now on Tuesday, I noticed that price came in right here. Okay, that is at 7. So this 7 was 9 a.m. for us, and it's actually 7 open, London open, London market open, and I took advantage of that. So this line that you see here, it's a 5-minute change of character. So let me just try and explain that real quick before we continue. So there was a change of character right there, and let's see. It's going to take time before it loads. I'm actually using a 16 GB kind of RAM, and it's still slow like this. I mean, it can be really frustrating. Okay, so here we are. So let's now look at it. So yeah, so that from that high we can see that there was that low, okay, that was formed, and then price shot to the upside, came and range around there, and then caused a change of character. So after that change of character, we see evidently that price went up, and after it came up to this supply, you can see there was a change of character there on the red line, which was broken, and then price came to that supply and then shot to the downside. So this was a very good trade. And yeah, I was expecting price to come and touch some of the supplies demands around here, but as you can see, I trailed my stop loss around there, and that's when price came and took me out after that low was formed. Okay, so after it came up again, I was expecting to buy from here, but I think this, I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure if I took this trade, but yes, there's that opportunity to the upside. Yes, I did take this trade. I remember I took this trade, but I was expecting it to come to the supply, which it didn't. So next time I'll be telling myself, or I'll add to my plan, that with such moves like this, I'll just be taking my trades out and my profits when it reaches to the nearest maybe supply or demand levels, so that I don't get to get smashed the way price did right here. So excuse me. So that's what happened right there. And then when we come all the way to Friday, because after that Tuesday and Wednesday, I didn't see any opportunities around there. I think this was on Wednesday. Thursday I wasn't around until on Friday, right over here. Okay, so price came and shot down to mitigate that. Remember that demand? That demand that I showed you. No, not this one, but this one. There was a demand here. That price came and touched, and then when it touched, it went all the way up to this supply. So after this change of character, which was my high, you can see evidently that price didn't come back there. And when Friday came, I was expecting to at least get a reaction, or rather take a trade, because we had a reaction here, the reaction there, and then some few touches on that demand before we continue to the downside. So inside this pullback that I'm just drawing in right now, we can see that price shot off to the downside. So I told guys that oops, I hit my mic there. So I told my guys that we have this supply that price could be reacting from, because after this change of character we had no return. So maybe that return would happen after price came to that supply and then continue to the downside. So I didn't take this trade and I'll explain why. So yes, so price came in very well with that tip of the week. It hit the TP, and I told guys I hope you took that opportunity, because this happened very, very subtly. Because if you check very well, this was my Frankfurt open right here. Price shot down, okay, and then during London price range, and then went up to that supply during London, and then London now, I think this was the afternoon or late morning hours, midday. Price shot to the downside, and then took out um, that TP, and also took out that demand with a week. So that means there was so much liquidity here after that change of character that people took their trades from, and then price shot up. So again, after price came up, it came up to react from that same supply. So what I'll be expecting is, as much as we are looking at the overall objective that we're still going to continue to buy, still we can see very well that we have double top here. Okay, so I'll mark this off as my liquidity, and I'm expecting that from a lower time frame perspective, we would be reacting. Let's see, duck. Yeah, like that. Yes, so I'll be expecting at least price to come here. So let me just move this away first, and I'll be expecting at least price to come up there before maybe looking for any other opportunities to the downside, because technically we see that price short and broke this low, so maybe they could be continuing to the downside. Also on the 4 we can see that yes, they did react deeper inside that demand. So what I'll do is I'll mark off this demand. I'll mark off that demand where the price is right now, because that was the last pullback. And then when I got 15 minutes, yes, you can see that price is just there. Okay, so maybe my anticipation is to come to this higher probability POI, uh, yes, and look to see if we can get some few opportunities to the downside. Also, let's not forget that as much as all that drama is unfolding, we also have, I also see this double bottom being also a point of liquidity, possibly. Actually now it's triple, because we have also this one that sharing relative low points together. So maybe price could come here next week, and yeah, continue to the downside. But overall, we know that price is still continuing to buy to the upside. So yeah, I think that will be all for GBPUSD. I won't have much to say, but only to wait to see how the drama now will unfold. Maybe on Monday, but also on Tuesday, because that's when I'll be at my desk. So that will be my low. Now I'm playing between, yeah, I think I'll be playing between that high. Okay, 1, 2, yeah, 3. So this was my high. Okay, so correct me for pardon me for saying this, but that will be my high. So right now I'll be expecting price to at least, react, or rather behave, or rather be obedient to this structure before continuing to the down to the upside. Now if it does break this high, okay, if it does break this high, I'll pull this order off, or maybe take some few advantages to maybe around 3R to here, uh, here 3.1, yeah, 3.1, and yeah, maybe get something like this, say it reacts from there, and then comes up, then I'll just take advantage maybe to any of the demands that will be left around there, given the fact that remembering the fact that we are reacting from this demand before we continue to the upside. So I think that will just be all for GJ, and that is what I'll be focusing on. Let's now jump to the last but not least, USD CHF. Okay, finals of this episode is the USD CHF. Evidently, yes, I still have this low, I can also take this. I think it's high time I also consider this as my last high, and that was my low, which actually got broken to the downside. What else? Now, price came very swiftly to that demand down there, as you can see. So let me just zoom in and have a wide, clear view of my whole structure. So let me just pull that in. No, let me just remove that and then just start over again with this and change it to daily swing. What is it? Daily swing duck. Okay, and then we have that low. Okay, and also acted as liquidity, which they came and took the people out. So before that low was actually breached, we can see that price reacted. Let me try and zoom in. Price reacted to that demand, but obviously to just pull back and then continue to the downside. So what it's doing right now is it's trying to pull back, but I'm really eyeing this supply for price to come to this supply before maybe continue to the downside. So right now this is what it's doing. Okay, and this has not, I don't think if this has broken that last high. So price just pulled back to this demand, and possibly we could be continuing to the upside just to come and mitigate that area of supply and maybe continue to the downside from there. Remember, all these are probabilities and also anticipations. Okay, so that is what I'll be waiting on the Swiss franc coming in next week on the daily 4 hour. Also showing or giving us the same kind of vibe, because the same structure is what we have on the 4 hours. So remember this triangle that I showed you? uh, Price broke out of it and then came to the downside. So after the change of character and price pulled back to somewhat the few supplies, and came down, it didn't actually return to this supply. So that's why I'll be expecting at least price to come to this area of supply. And also this area of supply, I won't leave it behind. And also this one, which was actually the one that we were looking at on the daily. So all that put together, I'm still having this arrow drawn on, and expecting price to continue to the upside. For now, looking at where price is, we obviously see that we didn't have a change of character down here, but price started, pulling back slowly and also collectively, coming down, reacting to this demand, then coming up, reacting to that supply. You see how they're exchanging hands. So it is at this supply now where price is ranging, that supply and that demand. So in between here, anything can happen. Yes, we've had a change of character here, and a direct pullback to that supply, and then price shot up again to come and react to this demand, and then again another change of character to that supply. Now price could be pulling back to either of any supplies demand here that we'll be seeing on the 4 hour, on the 15 minutes. Okay, so maybe this is just a temporary pullback before we continue to the upside. If you ask me about the next PI that I'll be eyeing on or looking at, is this one. Although it has been mitigated with so many of these weeks, I still believe maybe we could touch it and then continue to the upside. 15 minutes. Okay, so a few opportunities and a few hesitant or hesitated trades. Remember this one. Let me first talk about this that I explained last week. I did take it, but not on the FTMO or the live, but I had it eyed on the Fundiness competition, monthly competition. So yes, price shot up. I didn't actually take any profit right there, because this was 5.56. I was really flying to the moon right now, and I was expecting price to continue to the upside and possibly swing that trade. But as you can see, price came all the way down, and it took me out. right here on my break-even point, and yeah, called it quits and accepted that that loss was yeah, was lost just like that. So 15 minute, let me start off now with the 15-minute range and try and explain what we are looking at. For me, USD CHF has given us a ranging vibe, okay, especially with the so much drama that has been happening. So much drama that had been happening on the 15 minute, as you can see, it's all so messy with so many supply and demand points that I was drawing at. But if you check very closely, price is just, to me, it's just ranging. But all the same, if if you follow up with your prior with the pair very well with your strategy, you can obviously spot those trends and those levels. So let's say, for example, this was my low, and then price shot to the upside, and then this was my low, and then price shot to the upside. So technically we have an uptrend. So price came back, shot to the upside, then shot to the downside, and then we changed direction. So we had a lower low, lower low, lower high, and then lower low. Let me zoom in, and then lower high, okay, and then lower low, then break of that lower high. So yeah, lower high, and then we change direction again to here, and like that. So right now what's happening for me is I had this high, sorry, this low being broken, okay, and price is trying to give me a vibe of maybe coming down, okay, and so I'll be expecting this low to be broken and price to at least come down to some level of demands here, or also this demand that was left, okay, and mitigated because of this liquidity. All these triple bottom, I think, together with this one, if I'm not wrong, this one was already taken. So I think this was the last liquidity now that has been left, together with all these highs and all these double bottom. So all this put together, for me, I'm anticipating price to at least come down, because these internal breakout structures points, they have showed me that vibe of, changing direction again to the downside, though it has not broken this low, this one, but all this range could just be building liquidity for all those guys to buy and then come and take them out, especially with that very violent move, as you can see from this candle. So for me, I'll be expecting that move to the downside, maybe come and mitigate this demand, or maybe this demand before it breaks this low and continue to the upside. What else? The trades. Okay, so trades, we can see very well that let me try and start off. Let me try and start off with the internal structure. Okay, so we had this low that broke that high, and then price came and changed direction right there. So when it came now, this was on Wednesday, when it came to that point, we see very well that we had a change of character there. Okay, then price shot down to this demand, but obviously it didn't forget about that supply, which it came and reacted from, and then continued to the downside. So it came down, reacted to this demand, and then came up again, not to forget about this supply again. Now, what I have learned is, as much as you can be very pedantic about these levels and you'd love to take your trades from them, sometimes don't just put in the sell limits. Say, for example, you put your sell limit there and expect it to react and then, continue to the downside. Sometimes just try and consider, okay? Try and consider, because if you check very closely, this one happened during the New York Open, okay, whereby price came up at this time. New York Open had not started, and then came up again, only to take out these highs and then range around with that inside bar. Okay, this is now when New York actually opened. Okay, this is the New York Open, and price shot down. So what am I trying to say? That sometimes just try and look at the way price is reacting in that uh, level that you'll be eyeing on, or waiting for it to, come to and take your trades from. Okay, whereby if price now comes in deeper inside that supply, or maybe a case of demand, when it comes to your level, let it go deeper And if it does go deeper, then put your stop orders there, because sometimes it can come the same way you're seeing here. It came very violently. And imagine, this was, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me just do this. This happened in 12 to 13:15. That's 1 hour and 15 minutes, and you have your 3-hour trades. Okay, you have your 3-hour plus 3-hour trade. So you see, putting your stop, putting your sell stop there, price would have just tagged it and full directly to your TP. So that's one lesson that I've also learned, that when price goes deeper inside your expected or anticipated supply, just put your stops there, and then yeah, like you see, everything turned out well. So that's just one of the trades. Actually, I didn't take this trade. Yes, yeah, I did take this trade, but my buy was there. Sorry, my sell was there. My stop loss was just above that high. Okay, so as you can see, it came and took me out, and I already lost my morale, and I didn't want to associate again with that, and I called it a day and went to sleep, only for it to come and hit my TP, but obviously I was already out. Another stress that I had is after that break of structure, internal break of structure right there, we see that price went up and then came down to break this last low and then came up. So inside this here, I woke up very early in the morning. I had a change of character and a supply change of character by making this low and then a supply like that, and then price came up and now started to dance around here. So in within that celebration that they were having, and also the patience that we are giving, Frankfurt was already open and the range was still continuing. So I told myself, you know what, maybe we are, starting to continue, or rather changing direction to the downside, because you remember on the 4-hour, we're expecting for price to go to the downside. So after the range there, I took my trade and I placed my stop above the high. I didn't want any other, closed stops around there. And then when price came down like that, it's all now. And also after this Frankfurt Open, you can see that this return happened on the London Open. So you see right there, happened on the London Open, and then price, shot down, came back up to react from the supply, and then went to the downside. So now again, all this happening, this was now around London before New York. So New York also, for this particular pair, price came, reacted from that demand, and now price is playing in between that high and that low, or rather that supply and that demand. So yes, we never know the direction of which it's going to go, obviously, but for me, I'll be expecting at least price to come and at least touch this demand before considering going or continuing to the upside. So that will just be all with the lessons that I had, the lesson that I got, and also the focus that I can give on these particular pairs to pair together with the others. I have forgotten something. Euro USD. I've forgotten Euro USD. So please, let's just jump there real quick before we close up the meeting. Wow, I don't know how I could forget about this pair. I mean, really, it's one of the most, famous pairs in forex trading. So I really don't know why I could forget about it. Anywho, Euro USD, EUR USD. This low broke that high, and as you can see, yes, it mitigated those highs up above there on the weekly demand, weekly supply, and then price now started to move back down correctively, maybe to some areas of demand before we continue to the upside. So just like GBP USD, it's also moving to the downside. 4-hour, we had a change of character, but it was still too far, as you can see right there. But yes, after that change of character, we had some few areas of supply that were to be mitigated before continuing to the downside. So what I'll be eyeing is maybe, yes, it has violated this supply, and for me, it has left the supply open, and maybe it could be coming back up there to come and mitigate it and continue to the downside, because if you check very closely before the break of structure of the last high right here, price left this demand, so maybe they're coming there to mitigate that area of demand before continuing to the upside. Also, let's bear in mind that this candle with this long wick, you can see that several highs were taken between this one and this one, and also this one. So maybe it could have been could have finished right there with that trend and then continue to the downside. So the only vibe is here is the downtrend, whereby we have this flow. Okay, high high, then lower low, then lower high, lower low, then lower high, price ranged, and then came and broke to the downside. So maybe this one could be the return either to this supply, or maybe where it is right now, I just continue to the downside. So that's the kind of vibe I'm trying to see here on Euro USD on the 4 hour. 15 minutes, this is where the drama unfolds. And I think the way things are going, maybe soon enough I'll just be switching to be a swing trader, because wow, lower time frames can be so noisy. These guys can be so noisy. Anyway, so I think Tuesday the 8th of July, right here. No, Wednesday. This was Wednesday. Is it Tuesday? This is Tuesday 8th of July. That's Wednesday. I don't know why they're planning it that way. But as you can see, between that high and this low, we see that price short to the downside. So I won't want to explain much from there. Let's just go to the recent price action part. So after that break to the downside, we see that we are continuing. I meant to draw this one, but I hope you understand. We see that we have broken to the downside. So maybe this pullback could be deeper to this supply, because if you check very well, this is one, excuse me, this is one supply that had not been mitigated, and then price short to the downside. So what happened? I didn't have any trade all the way back there up until Friday, because I was just watching Euro USD for most parts of the week. So coming in now to Friday, I noticed that looking back, we had this low that correctively pulled back, and also this was an ascending triangle. As you can see, it was broken, just like DXY, it was broken, and then price shot to the downside. And then after I woke up, I found the price around here, so it ranged a little bit, but I was still optimistic that price would still continue to the upside, given the fact that it was reacting from this demand, and we started, like a kind of vibe of higher high. So yes, it had not been broken to the upside, and yeah, but still this demand looked to hold to me, and also the supply could be the one being targeted. So that's just what I was waiting for. So yes, I put in my buy stop order right there on the funded next competition, and then price shot to the upside to react to these wicks, as you can see. So I drew it up, then came down, reacted to that demand, and then shot to the upside, came down again to that demand, this candle, this demand, because that was the last pullback before these ones continued and also closed up above the previous candle high. So when price came to here, this now is New York, because as you can see, during the Frankfurt and the London, actually the London is one that gave us that kind of momentum, and then came down again to New York open, where it reacted now from that demand. Now during New York is where I noticed that we had this pullback to the downside, so I placed my buy stop order on the FTMO, buy stop order there, and then price shot to the upside, but came down again to take me out. So I want to explain something. If you are taking your trades and you want to maximize on your profits, please, if it's a lower time frame, do not be greedy. Do not be greedy. That is one lesson I have learned, especially on this trade, because this trade went very well. Imagine this was about a whole 1% that I would have gotten on my FTMO. But you see, price came back and shot to the downside. Now I know you're asking yourself, weren't you watching this price? Yes, I was not watching this price. I was confident that price would come to my 3R line or possibly come and touch here. So I wasn't worried. I went on with my business. I actually switched off my screens because I have side screens. So I just switched them off and continued with my other jobs that I was doing inside my laptop. So price came up to here and then shot me down. So I turned on the screen, I think after an hour and a half, and that's what happened. So my lesson to myself, the lesson to myself and you, the listener or viewer, you just need to understand that if you're eyeing your price or rather your trade to get to your 3R, at points like this, I think I've explained in one of my videos, at points like this, just take partials or also close the trade because it was close to your TP. Yes, you might not know that it would reverse this way, okay? But looking at the lower time frames, we had that kind of a vibe, okay? So remember, like I said, as we were looking at that order flow, we see that price went up and came in, reacted off that demand. Then went up. Yes, it didn't break that high, but it came and reacted there. And then again, if you check very closely, we had this pullback, reaction to that demand, then range a bit. Okay, then I put in my buy stop and then price tagged me, came back to somewhat the whole range and then shot to the upside. So what I'm telling myself is next time, especially on the lower time frames, I won't switch off my screen. I'll just have to watch it. I'll have to watch it and be very careful about such moves, because at this point, even if it was a 2.8, 2.7R, it would have still been a good profit. So that's just a lesson I have taken to myself. And coming in next week, I'll be very vigilant to understand the areas of interest and areas of exit that I'll need to focus on. So that's just my lesson for today and lesson for this week. Coming in next week, I'll be expecting to be very vigilant and monitor my trades very closely. Okay, so I don't have much. I hope you took some value from that video. I apologize if it was very long, but I hope you took some value from the video. If you want us to trade together, let me know in my inbox, but I'll leave the links to my Telegram and also TikTok, and especially Telegram, where I have a group and we normally share these kind of ideas. So if you want us to trade together, you can check out the link there, and yeah, get to trade together as a community. For now, I don't have much, but that's just all for this week and what we'll be expecting coming in next week. And I hope that you have a good weekend. And yeah, let's meet next week. For now, stay safe and let's live in love. Okay, let's live love. Let's live in love and love God and also love people. Okay, you have a nice weekend. God bless. See you on the next